Okay, so I've been working with both the British Museum and the British Library for over 10 years now, using collections of both institutions to develop interfaith dialogue and intercultural dialogue.
The Department of Education is a very interesting one because we're housed with FREBL, which works in primary education, the Adult Education Department and the Centre for Teaching and Learning. So we're across the whole scope of the educational continuum.
Dublin City Interfaith Forum is a network of faith representatives from different faith communities representing at the moment 7 major religions.
I work in the Department of Learning, Society and Religious Education in Mary Immaculate College, which is a teacher formation college. It's a college of education and the liberal arts. And my job is to educate student teachers at undergraduate or postgraduate level about religions and beliefs in Ireland.
The Inclusion and Diversity Service is part of the Educational Authority in Northern Ireland. We offer advice and support for teachers, classroom assistants and other staff who are working with newcomer pupils.
Within the context of the Chester Beatty Library, we have an education department and we provide guided tours for primary and post-primary schools, as well as learning resources aimed at teachers, co-created with teachers for teachers. And within this, we can address interfaith and intercultural dialogue, which is very important today in Ireland because of the cultural diversity that's apparent through migration to Ireland in the last 15 years. And our collections, which comprise of Islamic, East Asian and European artistic as well as religious materials, are ideal for that educational platform.
Well, for me, coming from a philosophical perspective, I think there's something quite amazing about having an understanding of this rich cultural, natural history of humankind, these lineages, having that sense of perspective of how have we come to be who we are, and that sense of connection with the past. And I think that ability to be curious about one another, to see points of affinity and connection, is really important to me. With interfaith resources, we help the imagination to go visiting. We train the imagination to go visiting. So we're not trying to necessarily empathize with another or really get under their skin and feel what it might like to be them, but we can imagine the world from their standpoint. We can begin to understand the importance of certain rituals and different kinds of practices.
I think it's really important to develop creative interfaith resources in Ireland, both north and south. We've had many resources and they're highly effective coming from the US and the UK and other European countries, but to have a homegrown Island of Ireland resource involving the Chester Beatty Library and the Northern Ireland Inclusion and Diversity Services is really effective. Where resources are local, where they're connected with local belief communities or artefacts that belong in a particular area, they're more impressive, more effective, they are more relevant to children and teachers. So I think this ways of seeing two resources highly significant for educators on the island of Ireland.
I think one of the biggest challenges that anybody engaging with interfaith or intercultural dialogue faces, and in particular school teachers find, is their concerns about how to handle or how to deal with the material that they're using. Objects and books and texts provide a unique platform for opening up discussion and creating resources around objects, around texts, and give teachers a confidence that perhaps they might not feel ordinarily in the classroom.
Museums have a wealth of resources and objects that provide opportunities for pupils and students to engage in and explore their own cultures as well as other cultures. And by working with museums on projects such as Ways of Seeing, we are able to highlight the importance of museums as a tool to explore interculturalism within the curricula.
Museums have a key role to play in teacher formation. I think that museums are centres not just alone of amazing artefacts and a cultural and historical and religious heritage, but of expertise that is available and accessible and supportive to educational institutions. So there's a tremendous expertise in museums that we really need to capitalise upon in teacher formation and in education in general.
I think that we have to ask the question, what is a museum? I think people often think a museum is a place that you're a spectator, you just go and look at things. And what I like is the possibilities for creating pedagogical spaces where we can have conversations and encounters that just wouldn't happen normally if we're on our own.
The Chester Beatty Library has an amazing collection of sacred texts, and these are there to be used and to be explored. They're there as works of art, as historical objects, but also represent the major faiths of the world, both past and present.
I think it's important to realize that we need to broaden our horizons and start learning more and become more aware of what's around us.
I suppose I would like confidence to use this resource, to see its relevance and to apply it and use it in the classroom.
What I really hope that people take from developing and understanding and using the resources that have been created through Ways of Seeing too is really inspiration, feeling confident as well that they can use sacred text in their classroom.
Museums and educational organisations such as third-level teacher training colleges can collaborate and co-create learning resources aiming at teachers who may not be confident in addressing intercultural dialogue and cultural diversity.
I think that there's a philosopher called James Tully, and he talks about the idea of strange multiplicity. I think we can get caught up so much in identitarian arguments and sort of box people into categories. And I really like the possibilities of thinking about this island as a strange multiplicity of very different people with different lineages and different perspectives, but also lots of points of commonality and affinity. And we can never tell where that's going to happen. And for me, this resource opens up the possibilities of deepening our knowledge and understanding, but also extending our imaginations in this way. I think for the island of Ireland, it's a really important resource because it begins to acknowledge that this is a strange multiplicity, and we need to think about notions of what it is to be on this island, what it means to be a human being on this island and a citizen on this island, as well as on this earth.